interested in. We now we'll find out the left hand limit at x is equal to 3. That from the definition, limit x tends to 3 minus, that is x is approaching 3 from values that are lesser than 3, fx, which is equal to limit x tends to 3 minus, and the value of fx here is x square minus 9 by x minus 3. Now, in order to evaluate left-hand limits, we substitute 3 minus x is equal to h. Okay, remember this technique. In order to evaluate left-hand limits, you put 3 minus x is equal to h. In case of right-hand limit, what were you putting? We were putting x minus 3 is equal to h. In case of left-hand limit, we put 3 minus x is equal to h. So that means we get x is equal to 3 minus h. Therefore, if 3 minus x is equal to h, what can you say? As x tends to 3 minus, that is, as this x is very close to 3 from values that are lesser than 3, then you can say that h must tend to 0. H is very close to 0.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, what can we say about the left-hand limit? You change everything in terms of h. So you get limit x tends to 3 minus I have. So I change this to h tends to 0. And instead of x, I substitute 3 minus h. Okay. And just as earlier, we'll now expand this. So this plus 3 and this minus 3 here cancels. In the numerator, plus 9 and minus 9 cancels. So you get here limit h tends to 0. H square minus 6h divided by minus h. Now here again, if you see, if you put h is equal to 0 in this, then you'll get an indeterminate form, again a 0 by 0 form. So what you do here is you take h common from the numerator and you have a minus h in the denominator. So this h and this h cancels. So you get limit h tends to 0 minus of h minus 6. Now you can put the value of h as 0. You get 0 minus of 0 minus 6, which is plus 6. So what do you see? You see that the left hand limit and the right hand limit both are equal. So left hand limit at x is equal to 3 and the right hand limit at x is equal to 3 are both equal, right? And both are equal to 6. Whatever they be equal to, it doesn't matter, but they must be equal. They are equal. So therefore, what can we say? Therefore, limit x tends to 3 fx, that is limit x tends to 3 x square minus 9 by x minus 3 exists. And what is this limit equal to? And limit x tends to 3 x square minus 9 by x minus 3 must be equal to, we've got 6, the left hand limit and the right hand limit must be equal to 6. Okay. So this is how we check the existence of a limit, how a limit exists. We check the right hand limit, we check the left hand limit, see whether they have a finite value, they exist finitely or not, and if they exist finitely, whether they are equal or not. Okay. So not only finitely, but they must be equal. Any of the conditions, if it is not satisfied, suppose a left hand limit does not exist finitely, then you cannot say the limit exists. Okay. Next is number 2. Question here is a function fx is defined as, so given here fx is equal to, what kind of function is this? This is a piece function, right? Okay, this function is given. Question is, does the limit of fx as x tends to 0 exists? Okay, so you need to check whether limit x tends to 0 fx exists. This is what you need to check. Okay, how do you check? We find out the left hand limit and we find out the right hand limit and check whether they are equal. So left hand limit, and what does x tend to? 0. So left hand limit at x is equal to 0 is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus, right? Because we are talking about left hand limit fx. Now if you see this function here, as limit x tends to 0 minus, that is as x approaches 0 from values that are lesser than 0, what is the value of the function? Not equal to 0, right? So value of the function is 1. And limit x tends to 0 minus of 1, which is constant, will be 1. Similarly, we evaluate the right hand limit at x is equal to 0. X tends to 0 plus fx. X tends to 0 plus. And for fx, if you see again here, x is approaching 0 from values that are higher than 0. That means x is not equal to 0 again. So again 1, which is equal to 1. So what do you see? That the left hand limit and the right hand limit both are here are equal to 1. So here left hand limit at x is equal to 0 is equal to right hand limit at x is equal to 0. Therefore, what can you say? Limit x tends to 0 fx exists. And what is it equal to?
1.
1. That's it. This was an easy one. We move to the next question, which is number 3. Prove that limit x tends to 2 mod x minus 2 by x minus 2 does not exist. So first of all, because there is a mod, we'll first write the given function. So let fx is equal to, what is the given function here? Mod x minus 2 by x minus 2. Now we'll use the definition of mod to simplify this function. If you remember the definition of mod, what can you say about mod? Mod x minus 2 is the same as x minus 2 if x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0, right? And is equal to minus of x minus 2 if x minus 2 is less than 0, right? From the definition of modulus.
Yes, sir.
Now fx is equal to x minus 2 if x is greater than or equal to 2. Sorry, this is made a mistake here with the function. Is equal to x minus 2, and you have a denominator also, right? Which is without the modulus, which is x minus 2, right? And you have minus of x minus 2 by x minus 2 if x minus 2 is less than 0, right? Function will take either of these values from the definition of modulus. I forgot to write the
Yes.
denominator earlier. Okay, now what
Yes.
happens? X minus 2 cancels off. So what do you get? Fx is equal to 1 if, what is the condition here? X greater than or equal to 2. And again, x minus 2, if it cancels here, you get minus 1 if x is less than 2. See, I have simplified this function of mod in terms of a very simple function here. Okay, a piece function. So now we will proceed to see whether this limit exists. How do you see? Left hand limit. We need to check for x tends to 2, right? So x is equal to 2 is equal to limit x tends to 2 minus fx is equal to limit x tends to 2 minus. Now x is approaching 2 from values that are lesser than 2, right? So this is the value of the function minus 1 because x is less than 2 here. Now x tends to 2 minus 1 will be equal to minus 1 because minus 1 is a constant. Right hand limit at x is equal to 2 is equal to limit x tends to 2 plus fx, which is equal to limit x tends to 2 plus. Now x is approaching 2 from values that are higher than 2. So what is the value of the function? 1,
1.
because for x greater than or equal to 2, which is equal to 1. So is left hand limit equal to right hand limit here?
No, sir.
No. So left hand limit at x is equal to 2 is not equal to the right hand limit at x is equal to 2. Hence we say that limit x tends to 2 fx does not exist. Limit x tends to 2 mod x minus 2, because that was the given function, mod x minus 2 by x minus 2 does not exist, right? So that's what you have to do. That's what you have to prove. And so this is proved. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Number 4. Show that limit x tends to pi by 2 tan x does not exist. Okay. So I start by saying let fx is equal to tan x. So that is what the function, that is the limit of the function that we need to calculate. Okay. Um, so here we need to check what is the as x tends to pi by 2. So left hand limit, because x tends to pi by 2, we are going to calculate the limit of uh, fx at x is equal to pi by 2, which is equal to limit x tends to, from the definition of left hand limit, pi by 2 minus fx, which is equal to limit x tends to pi by 2 minus tan x. Now how do you evaluate the left hand limit? Left hand limit is evaluated by putting pi minus 2, pi by 2 minus x is equal to h, right? So therefore what do we get here? X is equal to pi by 2 minus h. Therefore as x tends to pi by 2 minus, if x is very close to pi by 2 remaining lesser than pi by 2, then from here what can you say? H is very close to 0. So therefore what is the left hand limit? If we change everything in now in terms of h for the left hand limit, what will you get? Limit x tends to pi by 2 minus becomes h tends to 0, and tan And what is the value of x here? Pi by 2 minus h, right? So we get limit h tends to 0. Tan pi by 2 is nothing but, tan pi by 2 minus h is nothing but cot h, right? Okay. So if this is equal to cot h, then limit h tends to 0, you can write this as 1 by tan h, right? And see, if h is very close to 0, then what is the value of tan 0? It is very close to 0, isn't it? Here, h is very close to 0. Very small quantity, very close to 0. That means approximately equal to tan 0. And what is the value of tan 0? The value of tan 0 is 0. So we are getting a 1 by 0 form, right? Which is nothing but infinity, right? We now proceed to calculate the left right hand limit. X tends to pi by 2 plus fx is equal to limit x tends to pi by 2 plus tan x. Okay. We now put, in order to evaluate right hand limit, what we do? X minus pi by 2 is equal to h we put. That means we get x is equal to pi by 2 plus h. Therefore, as x tends to pi by 2 plus, we have h tends to 0. Therefore, what is the, if I change the right hand limit to, from x to h, what will I get? Limit x tends to pi by h tends to 0, tan pi by 2 plus h. Okay. And how much is tan pi by 2 plus h? Negative and associated angles. It is in the second quadrant, right? Second quadrant means, and obviously you have an odd multiple, 1 into pi by 2, isn't it? So it changes to second quadrant, tan is negative. So minus, and tan changes to cot. So minus cot h, which is equal to limit h tends to infinity minus 1 by tan h. What is this equal to? You know, if you put h is equal to 0, you get minus 1 by 0, which is equal to minus infinity, right? So if you see the left hand limit and the right hand limit, both do not exist finitely and are also not equal. Okay. Since left hand limit x is equal to pi by 2 and right hand limit at x is equal to pi by 2 do not exist finitely, hence limit x tends to pi by 2 tan x does not exist. Clear with this or any question?
No, sir, clear.
We move on to the next question. Okay, look at number 5. Again, a modulus is there. We'll use the definition of modulus here also. Given here, fx is equal to x pi mod x for x not equal to 0. Equal to 0 for x is equal to 0. Now we'll use it, and what you need to do, you need to find out limit x tends to 0 fx. Okay. So first let's simplify this function using the definition of mod. Fx is equal to x by mod x. We can write fx is equal to x by x, because mod x is equal to x for what value of x? For x greater than 0, right? And for x is equal to 0, what is the value here? 0. For x is equal to 0. And for x less than 0, what is mod x equal to? It is equal to minus x, right? From the definition of mod.
Yes, sir.
That means now if I simplify this function, it gets down to x by x is 1 for x greater than 0, equal to 0 for x is equal to 0, equal to minus 1 for x less than 0. That simplifies this function. Now it is very easy to find out the limit. At what value x tends to 0. So let's first find out the left hand limit at x is equal to 0. Limit x tends to 0 minus fx is equal to limit x tends to 0. Now you see, if x is approaching 0 from values that are lesser than 0, the value of the function here is minus 1, right? This one, which is equal to minus 1. Right hand limit at x is equal to 0. Limit x tends to 0 plus fx. X is approaching 0 from values that are higher than 0. So what is the value of the function there?
1.
1, which is equal to 1. So what can we say? Left hand limit. So here left hand limit at x is equal to 0 is not equal to, they exist finitely, but they are not equal. Hence, limit x tends to 0, fx does not exist. Okay, I hope this should be clear.
Yes, sir.
Next question, number 6. Again, a piece function is given here. Given fx is equal to x when x is less than 0, is equal to 0 when x is equal to 0, is equal to x square when x is greater than 0. You need to check whether limit x tends to 0 fx exists. Again, evaluate the left hand limit, because x tends to 0. Left hand limit we are going to calculate at x is equal to 0, is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus fx is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus. Now if x approaches 0 from values that are lesser than 0, what is the value of the function that you see here? X, right?
Yes, sir.
And in order to evaluate x, in order to evaluate the left hand limit, how do you evaluate left hand limit? You put 0 minus x is equal to h, right? This minus this, that means we get x is equal to minus h. Therefore, as x tends to 0 minus h must tend to 0. Now we change everything in terms of h. So left hand limit x is equal to 0 is equal to limit h tends to 0 and x is minus h. Now you can put the value of h to be 0 to get 0 here. In fact, what you could have also done here is, instead of doing all this, because you see that you are getting 0, you could have written here directly equal to 0. Sometimes limit x tends to 0 minus, you don't actually have to uh, find h and then change everything in terms of h. If you see it as a determinate form, you can put x is equal to 0 directly here and then find, because if it is a determinate form. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So left hand limit and the right hand limit similarly is limit x tends to 0 plus fx. Now, what is the value of fx if x is approaching 0 from values that are higher than 0? If you see in the function, for x greater than 0, the value of the function is x square,
Square.
which is equal to 0 square. Put it directly. Okay. So you get 0.
Okay.
So what do you see? Since left hand limit at x is equal to 0 is equal to right hand limit at x is equal to 0. Hence, what can we say? Limit x tends to 0 fx exists. And what is it equal to?
0.
0. Must be equal to 0. Okay. Fine. We'll move on to the next problem, number 7. Show that limit x tends to 0, sine 1 by x does not exist. So I say a given function, let fx is equal to sine 1 by x. Okay, and limit x tends to 0, you have to evaluate. So we need to check whether this limit exists. So we will calculate the left hand limit first. Since x tends to 0, we'll calculate the left hand limit at x is equal to 0. Limit x tends to 0 minus sine 1 by x. Okay. Now this is a left hand limit. You can calculate this by 0 minus x is equal to h. That means x is equal to minus h. Therefore, as x tends to 0 minus, h tends to 0. So what is your left hand limit now? Left hand limit at x is equal to 0 becomes limit h tends to 0 sine 1 by minus h, which is limit h tends to 0. You can take the minus sign out to write this as sine minus sine 1 by h, right? Now, if h is very close to 0, 1 by 0 is infinity, very huge number, right? That means sine of a huge number, what will it be? It will have whatever number you like. What is the domain of, what is the range of sine? Minus 1 and 1, right? So any number
Yes.
that you take, howsoever large, it always lies between, in fact, it oscillates between minus 1 and plus 1,
1.
right? So they does not have any particular value. Okay, it can be any value between minus 1 and plus 1. Similarly, right hand limit at x is equal to 0. What can you say? Limit x tends to 0 plus fx. Limit x tends to 0 plus sine 1 by x. Okay. Now, how do you evaluate the right hand limit? X minus 0 is equal to h. Then we are nothing but putting x is equal to h. Therefore, as x tends to 0 plus, h tends to 0. Therefore, right hand limit at x is equal to 0 is equal to limit h tends to 0 sine 1 by h, right? Now, sine 1 by h, again, if h is very close to 0, not equal to 0, but if h is very close to 0, 1 by 0 is a very huge number, and sine of a huge number is what? Which lies between minus 1 and 1. Whatever what value, howsoever small or howsoever huge value of take, the range of sine is always minus 1 and 1.
1.
But we are not sure here, right? So minus 1 and 1, it does not exist uniquely. So thus, left hand limit at x is equal to 0 and right hand limit at x is equal to 0 do not exist uniquely. Uniquely, you understand? It can take any value between -1 and +1, right? Lies between -1 and +1. This lies between minus
Yes,
1
sir.
and +1 can take any value. I'm not sure whether they are equal. Therefore, they do not exist uniquely. Hence, we say limit x tends to 0, sine 1 by x does not exist. And that is what we needed to show. Okay, this is proved. Fine. Let's see if I can pull out another sum. Question is, show that limit x tends to 0, e to the power of -1 by x does not exist. I say let fx is equal to e to the power of -1 by x. Okay, so since x tends to 0, we have to calculate the left hand limit at x is equal to 0. Limit x tends to 0 minus fx, which is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus e to the power of -1 by x. I say let 0 minus x is equal to h. That means you get x is equal to minus h. Therefore, as x tends to 0 minus, you get h tends to 0. Therefore, what does the left hand limit change to? H tends to 0, e to the power of -1 by -h, which is nothing but limit h tends to 0, e to the power of 1 by h. Now, if you see here, h is very close to 0. That means 1 by 0, 1 by 0 is a very huge number. 1 by a number that is very close to 0 is a very huge number. And e to the power of a huge number will be a very huge number. That means this must be equal to plus infinity, right? Because 1 by 0
Yes, sir.
is almost close to infinity. E to the power of infinity is close to infinity. So, so this must be an infinity, right hand limit at x is equal to 0. Limit x tends to 0 plus, okay, fx, which is equal to limit x tends to 0 plus e to the power of um, -1 by x. So now in order to evaluate right hand limit, what we do? X minus 0 is equal to h. Essentially, we are putting x is equal to h actually. Therefore,
Yes, sir.
as x tends to 0 plus h tends to 0. So what does the right hand limit become? Right hand limit at x is equal to 0 becomes limit h tends to 0, e to the power of -1 by h, right? And if you see h is very close to 0, so -1 by 0 will be -1 by a number that is very close to 0 will be very close to minus infinity, and e to the power of
Yes, sir.
minus infinity will be equal to minus infinity, right?
Mm.
So what do you see? So here left hand limit at x is equal to 0 and right hand limit at x is equal
Is
to
not
0
equal.
do not exist finitely.
Yes.
And if they do not exist finitely, we say that the limit does not exist. Limit x tends to 0, e to the power of 1 by x does not exist, right? And that is what we had to show. And that's it. Okay. So I'll stop here.